Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of the Estrada Extra, a show that's all about sharing with you some practical tips, some actionable advice to help you along that journey of self-discovery, of becoming the happiest, most empowered version of yourself in the middle of a global pandemic or not, whatever the circumstances. So thank you for those of you that watched episode 1. That was all about how to deal with sudden change, and I gave you nine different tips of things to try there, and hopefully you tried at least one or two. If you didn't, or if you haven't watched that video yet, you can go check it out. So today's video deals with honestly, it's one of my favorite tools for personal empowerment. This is something that I shared with my students last semester, and that worked really well. And I think it's going to come in especially handy right now that we're in the midst of this global pandemic. And if you're watching this later in life in the future, and we're no longer in the global pandemic, great, it'll also be helpful. But I think especially now, it's going to come in handy. So a lot of you may be asking yourselves, well, in these challenging times, like it's hard to find a place of energy from within, a place of energy where you feel good about yourself regardless of the outside circumstances, and where you might be able to find new paths, perhaps new synergies, perhaps you feel a little stuck. So I'm going to share with you one of my absolute favorite tools. I'm going to show you how to make the tool for yourself. It's a very personal thing, but then I'm going to show you also how to use it. It's not a one-time, okay, you did this video once and you're done. It's something that you can create for yourself and then keep coming back to and keep reusing in a way that will empower you in a different way every time that you use it. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. I know how helpful it was for my students last semester, so I hope it'll be helpful for you too. So before we get into that, our first before I get into the meat of it, I will say, I'll request that you go get a piece of paper and a pencil, because it's not going to be the type of video where you just listen to it. You're going to be doing some things along with the video that'll hopefully be kind of fun. And if most of the time you're like, wait, I don't have the time to be watching a video and be doing this personal stuff. Well, I mean, let's face it, we're all quarantined, unless you're an essential worker. But in any case, most of us are quarantined right now. And so what better time, right, to think about things, to work on ourselves, to take a pause. So yeah, so go get a piece of paper, a notebook, and a pencil to write with, and that'll be helpful for you. All right, so pause if you want to go get that. Otherwise, let's dive into the show. But before I do that, so I said the show is going to start out with a light section where before we dive into the main topic, we're going to share some light, some lighthearted stuff. So my light topic for the day is, I guess it's a request. I want you guys to share with me, whether in the comments or you can send me a direct message, but share with me through this time of quarantine and pandemic, either like a show or a movie or something that is like making you laugh. Like I don't want any like depressing, heavy stuff, but just just some really funny, whether it's a comedy movie or a sitcom or stand up, or just some whatever that just really makes you laugh and puts you in a good mood, because I think we could all use it right now. I think it's nice of you share it with me personally, but I also want to hopefully develop a sense of community and us to share with each other. So it's even better if you share it in the comments, so that way other people who are watching the video can benefit from the show that you enjoy. So that's my request for you guys in this light section, and I will share mine. So I think this is a show that very few of you have watched. I know that's a little presumptuous, but it's just a show that's not very popular in the States. So I came across it on YouTube just kind of on accident. It's called Would I Lie to You? So it's a British show. So those of you that like British humor, you will really like this. If you don't like British humor, maybe it's won't be your thing. But I have to say, for me, I've just been just in a great mood after each What I Like to You episode. Every episode is hilarious. And I know humor is a very specific thing. It's a very personal thing. So everybody has different tastes. But given my style of humor, I just find it brilliant. So What I Like to You is basically, it's a game show. I guess the technical term over in the UK, it's a comedy panel show. A comedy panel show. So it's a little like improv-y. Guess on the US side, similar-ish type of shows. I could think of Whose Line Is It Anyway, or maybe there was like a Celebrity Squares type show or something like that, where they bring comedians and put them in this panel type situation and give them different prompts. And the main comedians of the show are so hilarious and just so witty. And really, the premise of the show is pretty simple, where they make them read a card, and then the other team has to guess whether it's true or not, and kind of cross-examine, which sounds like a very simple premise. And they got some variants on it, but oh my god, it is so funny. It's just every episode is just like a ray of sunshine. I mean, it's puts me in a great mood. So check out What I Like to You. All the episodes are on YouTube. I would recommend actually not watching them in order, because the newer seasons, they're up to season 13, but the newer seasons are actually funnier, in my opinion, than the older seasons. So anywhere from season 6 onward, the show gets especially funny. So that's my opinion. Go check out What I Like to You on YouTube, and tell me if it makes you laugh. And in the comments, leave me some recommendations of things that'll make me laugh. All right, great. So that's our little light segment for today. But without further ado, then let's dive into this this tool for breaking out of that feeling of being stuck, for helping you find energy from within and helping you find new pathways, regardless of whether we're in this very stuck type situation or not. So this is it's a tool that I think a lot of us could benefit from at any point, but especially now. And I'm proud of myself. I kind of came up with this on my own, just gathering some input from different stuff that I'd read, from different videos, and yeah, it's worked out very nicely. I developed it for myself first, and it was working just super well. And so I decided to share it with my students, and it worked. It sounded like it worked really well for a lot of them too. So I call this tool it's called the VCC, which stands for Virtuous Cycle Cloud, the Virtuous Cycle Cloud. And so the whole idea of it is that, so often we hear about vicious cycles, right? Where it's oh, this went bad. Then as a result of that, this got worse. As a result of that, the same thing got worse and worse and worse. And so it's this downward spiral, right? So that's a vicious cycle. But I have found that there's a lot of areas in life where you can uncover virtuous cycles, where, you work on something positive, and therefore that is feeding into another thing that you're doing that maybe originally didn't seem connected to it, but now you're getting better at that, and so it's feeding back in to the original thing, and that you can develop that virtuous cycle between two things, and that it just keeps feeding back and looping back and gives you more and more empowerment. So one of the whole thing here is to uncover synergies, uncover virtuous cycles in your life connected to your own personal circumstances, connected to your own personal strengths. That may not be obvious, because sometimes some of these show up in very obvious ways, in which case great, but sometimes it is not so clear. How can we connect these things? How can I develop synergies between areas of my life that might not be so clear initially? So that's the whole idea of the VCC. It's about getting you in touch with your own strengths and helping you find synergies between different areas of your life that give you joy, that make you feel grounded, that make you feel powerful, and you're going to see it's going to be a really helpful exercise. Even just doing it the first time is nice, but then to revisit, because every time that you go back to it, and I'll show you how to create the tool, and then I'll show you a bunch of different exercises on how you can use it. So again, if you haven't already, please go get a pencil and paper. And this is the type of video where I'll request that you pause it at different points. So, make sure that you're, give yourself a little bit of time and, tell your parents, roommates, whoever, like, not to bother you for a bit, because you're going to spend a little bit of time working on yourself. You don't have to give them all the explanation, but just find a little bit of time there where you won't be bothered, right? And again, I think now in these quarantine times, it might be easier to do than in normal, for normal circumstances where it might be a little bit hard to find some time to just be alone and work on ourselves. So on a personal level, something that I want to share, like how this came about, like one specific synergy that I found. So a lot of you know that in recent years, I've started to learn French. And also in recent years, in what seemed like a pretty disconnected from the French thing, but I've gotten into travel. So, doing a little bit of travel to explore the world. Obviously, that's on hold right now. But, I hope once the pandemic, clears up, that I'll get back to traveling again. But what I found was that as I was working on French, the more it made me want to spend some time looking at places in France or other, French-speaking countries to go visit. And, and that's one of the things that I'm really, really looking forward to. So basically, my passion for travel gave me motivation for my language learning. And the more that I learned, the better I got at French, the more excited I got about now I'm ready to go to France and try that out. And the more I learned about French language and culture, then the more that would plug in again to give me empowerment in terms of getting better at the language and so on. So there was this beautiful synergy between my passion for world exploration, for travel, and just getting to know other cultures and seeing other places, and then learning a specific language. So this beautiful synergy between those two things it's just a hugely empowering thing that even in the light of the pandemic, I'm still trying to draw strength from, and it's been wonderful. But then it doesn't stop there. I realized that I could draw synergies and virtuous cycles between those things and other areas. So one of the things that I love to do is meditate. Like, that's one of my hobbies. Again, I got serious about this a few years ago, and it has helped my quality of life so very much. And I might do another video about giving you guys some tips on starting to meditate and different types and things like that, if you're interested, because for me, it's been very helpful. And people meditate in different ways. My preferred way is I have an app that I listen. It's called Insight Timer. Great app. But there they have guided meditations in different languages. And so I listen to those audios and follow along. And so what I started doing was I started listening to my guided meditations in French. And that way, I'll admit, like, when I started doing this, I did it just to save time, because I'm like, it's hard to get my French lesson in and my meditation in and, have my full-time job, right? So in terms of, it was like a time-saving thing initially. And I'm like, well, what if I've combined those two and I listen to my meditation in French? And usually in those meditations, they're talking pretty slowly. It's kind of repetitive. They're talking about, focus on your breath, focus on different parts of your body. So it was really good from a French learning standpoint. And it was, and I was sticking to my meditation as well. So this unexpected synergy started between meditation and language learning. And what I found was that there was benefits there that were perhaps more powerful than I realized. It was not just a time-saving measure, but then what started happening was that subconsciously I began to associate the sound of the French language with this calm, focused, meditative state. And so, of course, that really empowered me, because anytime I would listen to a different podcast or a different lesson in French, then I would be in this very, just focused on my breath, calm, sort of sort of place. And so again, and you loop back in the travel, language, and meditation. Now you got three things that are all building off of each other. And again, uncovering new paths, uncovering new directions, and giving me a sort of power that individually none of them was going to do. So that's how it started for me. Like the connection between travel and language seemed kind of obvious. Travel, language, and meditation, that third one seemed not obvious at all, and it was probably the most empowering of them all. So that was what really gave me this genesis of the VCC, and it's really going to be drawing in on different areas of your life, on different strengths that you might have, in order so that you can discover synergies between them. All right, so without further ado, first I'll show you. So I gave you plenty of the motivation and where it came about, how it can help you. So now let's do your VCC. So take a little time, get set up with your notebook or piece of paper and your pencil. And first thing I want you to do is to start on a fresh new page and draw a cloud all around the edge of the page. So, full size, just a little, big old cloud all around the edge of the page. So, take your time to do that. And after each step, feel free to pause. So if it's helpful for you. Okay. So hopefully you got your cloud ready. So in this cloud, we are going to write some words based on prompts that I give you. So that's how we're going to build our cloud. So first thing I would like you to do is list 5 strengths that you have. 5 strengths that you have. Okay, and so we may go about this in different ways. So just you can ask yourself, okay, just touching in like into myself, what are things that I am, that I'm proud of, qualities. So as an example, are you very creative, strategic? Are you helpful? Are you a patient person? Are you a kind person? Just any of these, just whatever applies to you, but try to think of 5. And if right now you can't think of too many, if you're like, well, I came up with 2 or 3 and that's okay, doesn't matter, just come up with as many as you can, aim for 5. Yeah, like that's, and once you come up with those 5, you can write those words anywhere in the cloud. So don't put them just in list form. I mean, you can if you want to, but it's more fun if you just put them in different places all around the page. So if you're like, creative or dependable or resilient or whatever, but just 5 strengths that you believe that you have. So another alternative to doing this 5 strengths thing, if you have taken online, so there's this thing called the Strengths Finder test. I believe the full name is the Clifton Strengths Finder. So you can Google that, and it's basically an online test where they ask you a bunch of questions, and based on those they tell you what are your top 5 strengths. So if you know your top 5 Clifton strengths, you can just put those down. Even if you haven't taken the test, something I would encourage you to do, go to that Clifton Strengths Finder. Again, you can Google that. And even if you don't take the full test, but if you look at the list of strengths, and again, it's things like adaptability, achiever, connection. So this huge list of different human qualities. So just think about 5 that you connect with. And even if you feel that that right now you might not feel like you have them at your full potential, but you either think that you got it in you or you felt it at some point in the past, still put it down. All right, so 5 strengths. I'll give you a little bit of time, so pause right here, think about what those 5 strengths are, and write them anywhere on the page. Okay, so hopefully you got a chance to do that. Again, even writing 2 or 3 and thinking about those strengths is in itself an empowering thing. So even just the creation of this tool is going to be an empowering thing. Next up, I want you to think of just 5 hobbies that you have. And if you don't have five hobbies, think about five hobbies that you could see yourself taking up at some point, So, and this could be stuff that you've either done in the past, maybe, it doesn't have to be things that you do right now. They can, in which case, great. But even if it's stuff that you've done in the past, maybe as a kid, you haven't done it in a while, maybe you did it at some point in your life, you enjoyed it, and you don't really remember why you stopped doing it, that's fine, put it down. If it's something that a hobby that you always wanted to try but you never really had the time to, or whatever, also you can put it down. All of this is fair game. So five hobbies that you enjoy, or have enjoyed or hope to enjoy. Five hobbies. All right, pause, think about those, and continue. All right, so now that you have your five hobbies down, I would like you to write five either classes that you liked. So whether, if you're a college student right now, think about, either college courses that you enjoyed or college courses that you did well in. So try to think of five. If you, if you're not, if it's been a while since you've been in school, think of again five, either it's like subjects back in grade school or subjects in high school, but five, classes or subjects that you either enjoyed or did well in. Doesn't matter. And if it's, again, you can only think of like two or three that you enjoyed, that's totally fine. Let's aim for five, but go with two or three. So pause, go with that. All right, so if you thought of your five classes that you liked, next up, I would like you to write five quote unquote dream jobs. Dream jobs of like if you whatever situation, if and for this it can be something quote unquote realistic or something absolutely crazy. So if if it's even if it's something like rock star or astronaut or whatever, but if it's like a dream, write it down, doesn't matter. And if it's more realistic, quote unquote realistic, right, of something that's like, well, maybe I work on like in this company, but I'd like to be a manager. I'm good with people. I want to be a manager in that, in the company that I already work for, or whatever. Doesn't matter. But list five dream jobs. And again, think crazy. Like one exercise that's kind of fun is like if you had just a completely different life, so if you sometimes I think about like what life would be like if I were anywhere from like a monk in Tibet to a cattle rancher in Oklahoma to a winemaker in Chile. Like it could be anything. It doesn't matter. But yeah, five dream jobs are things that sound kind of fun, and that you would hope to do at some point. So daydream, feel free, and if you come up with just two or three, great. If you come up with more than five, write them all down. All right, I'll let you think about that and pause. Okay, next up. So, give me five compliments that you have received. And so and again, for each of these things, you're just writing them anywhere on the page, Five compliments that you've received at any point in your life, whether it's like back when you were a kid or something you heard today. Could be about your personality, could be about an achievement, it could be about how you look. It doesn't matter. Five compliments that you've received at any point in your life. So think about that. And if this is like, oh man, I can't remember when's the last time someone complimented me, and you can't think of anything, I am going to give you a compliment right now, and you can include that. So you are awesome at working on personal development, because right now there's a lot of people that are, again, not to judge, because these are very hard circumstances, but a lot of people that are just being just wasting the day away and not working on themselves at all. And you are choosing to use this time of pandemic to improve yourself and work on yourself. So you are awesome at taking care of yourself. You are awesome at self-care. You're awesome at working on yourself. So there you go. That's at least one compliment, and you can put it down. I give you permission to put it down on the list. I would encourage you to, because it's totally true. It is the truth. It is the truth. I mean, there's a reason you're here right now, right? So so that's true. And so think about five compliments and pause. Go for it. All right, so now that you've got 5 compliments, anywhere else on the page, so your page is probably like filling up with these words, all of which are things that excite you in some way, make you feel good about yourself, or just maybe make you feel good about different aspects of your life, different stages of your life. Next up, I would like you to list 5 core values, things that are really, really important to you. So this could be anything from something like freedom to kindness to connection, family. I don't know. So whatever it is that that you feel are things that really, really matter to you. List 5 words that capture that. Again, go for at least 2 or 3 things that are very important to you. And yeah, let's just think about that and pause right now. And that alone, I think, is a very powerful exercise in terms of seeking those core values. So let's wrap up with 5. So this I'll leave it as open to you as you want. But like the last category is 5 little things that make you smile. So just it doesn't have to be some grand whatever thing, but just whether it's petting your cat or your dog, or just the particular way that the sun looks out your window, whatever it is, 5 little things that make you smile. And again, it doesn't matter if you've experienced this in the past, present, or if it's something you hope to experience more in the future. It doesn't matter. So think about 5 little things that make you smile and pause. Okay, so now let's look back. So you've had 5 strengths, 5 hobbies, 5 classes that you liked or did well in. You have 5 dream jobs, 5 compliments you've received, 5 core values, and 5 little things that make you smile. So that's a lot. That's a lot of things. Now you've got a page right there that, by the way, you don't ever feel pressure to show it to anyone. This is yours. This is yours. It's yours to keep, like coming back to. But these are all things that are very, very connected to you. And these are all things that are important to you, are relevant to you, and are true about you, and things that you can draw strength from, and find new pathways from. So now, and I hope that even doing the exercise itself, probably like as you are finding those things, just so this was the creation of the tool. I hope that even that was positive and was kind of fun, or encouraging in some way. But now what we're going to do is start using it. So I'm going to give you a few different ways to do it, and you can pause and keep coming back to this video, because I'm going to describe a few different ways to do it. But obviously, you're not going to do them all right now. But yeah, come back to this video anytime. So number 1 is I call it the quick think exercise, and this is like the easiest one. So you can after I describe the exercise, you can pause and do it real quick right now if you want. So basically, just you can cover your eyes, real quick, and just pick at random 1 word and 2 words. Just 1 and 2, just 2 random words from your page, and ask yourself just a quick think: could I connect these in some way? Is there any type of connection at all? And be open to it. Like there's going to be part of you, there's going to be like this very constrained sort of like censor sort of voice in your head saying like, no, there's no way I could connect soccer and creativity. Open it up. Maybe there is. Maybe you think about that hobby and the compliment that you got, and you're like, wait, how do these? Oh no, there might be something there. So think about just a quick think on connections. That's all I want. So you can do it a few times with a few of them, and try to stay open. Like with this, stay open. Say yes. Maybe it doesn't come out right away. Maybe it does. But this is kind of like a warm-up quick thing. So you can pause here if you want to do it a few times. All right. Great. So hopefully you enjoyed that. The second one is the write out exercise. So my write out exercise, I'm a big believer in writing things down and writing things out. And I think it's pretty like well demonstrated that there is all sorts of psychological, therapeutic benefits to writing something down. So this one's a little bit more involved, but that's totally okay. So it's a variant on the above. You're going to pick three things, but again, at random. So this is, you're not consciously doing it. You're just going to, close your eyes, pick one. Then close your eyes again, pick another. Close your eyes again, pick another. Three words, three concepts. These are three things from you, from your life that are important to you in some way. And with those three things, see if you can write a couple of paragraphs, maybe a page of free form writing as to how could you connect these three. And again, here it might be a little bit harder because sometimes you might get two that connect in very obvious ways and one that's a little out there. That's totally okay. Stay open to it and see what relationship exists between these three, and could I develop some sort of synergy between these three things. So you are going to be, I guarantee, you're going to be surprised. This is not something that's going to come out right away. Sometimes you need to marinate on those three. If you after let's say if you pick those three words, you want to start on a separate piece of paper, write them at the top, and just sit with them and see how could I connect these three. It's a great way to go about it, but make sure that you write this down. I tell you, this is going to be a very nice and powerful, very, very powerful exercise. So with this one, if there's absolutely no way whatsoever, there's the two out of three ain't bad philosophy. So if two of them you can connect, then write about that, but make sure to write. And if you're like, okay, these three are just a little too disconnected, just repeat the exercise for three other ones. And I guarantee there's going to be, even after a couple of cycles, you're going to find some connections that you were not aware of in your life, where it's like that, French and meditation thing, where it's like, that might really open up new pathways that I didn't expect. All right, so I'll let you pause. If you want to work on that right now, you can. If you want to come back to that and do the writing later exercise, you can. So that's my exercise number 2. Exercise number 3 that you can do based on your really powerful VCC, on your very personal VCC. It's the how many can I connect game. So there, in the previous one, you came up with 3 things that hopefully you found some connection, some synergy between. So now, you can start over and start with 3 at random. And then you can ask yourself, how many other things can I add to this, right? So if you've got already something that off of 3, you've got a nice synergy going, go back and look at your VCC and see, can I add this other quality, this other trait that I have? Or can I loop in some other thing about this class that I took into this thing? So the game right now, this one's all about quantity, is the number of connections game. So think about, with that core, I think it's nice to start with a core of 3 things. Is like, how many can I add to that new synergy, to that new project, to that new direction that it can go in the future, incorporating as many things as possible. All right, so that's the how many can I connect game. That again, you can either pause now, and if you want to try it right now, I encourage you to do it, or otherwise, if you want to come back to it later, you may as well. Great. So number 4 is it's called I call it the VCC daydream. And so all it is basically is I encourage you to do this either in the morning or in the evening, like as part of your morning ritual or your night ritual. So you guys know I'm all about this morning ritual, evening ritual type of thing. And again, that's another topic that I may do another video on in the future, because I know that stuff works really, really, really well in terms of just giving you a sense of, a sense of groundedness and a sense of positivity. But what are you going to do with this VCC daydream? Exercise 4 is to, maybe you're about to go to bed. Go ahead and take out that notebook and that piece of paper. You don't have to add anything to it, but just look at it. See what about it, which words kind of jump out at you. And there are going to be sometimes words that you hadn't thought of in a while, and just daydream based off of it. Just let yourself be inspired by those words and drift off. Again, this is super helpful. For example, in the evening, sometimes in the evening we're too caught up in the stress of the day, things that are causing us anxiety. Well, we're going to do things a little bit differently, right? We're going to instead tap into these things that are very true, very personal, and very real for ourselves, and just look at that word cloud, see what jumps out from that virtuous cycle cloud. And sometimes it's going to be one word that that jumps out at you. Sometimes it might be one hobby that it's like, oh, that's right, drawing. I haven't done that since I was a kid and I love it. And just let yourself daydream. Let yourself, think about the drawings you're going to do in the future, whatever. So feel free to play with it. Keep it nice and free form. Again, I encourage you to do this in the morning and in the evening, this VCC daydream. All right. And finally, exercise 5 is the revisit. So what I want you to do is that, VCC that you just drew, keep it in a special place, a place where you can keep coming back to it, whether it's, your desk, your nightstand, whatever, but a place that it's not going to be just you did it once and you forgot about it. Like, the powerful thing about this is that these are things that are true now. They're connecting to the past you and to the future you, and they're going to be opening up new pathways, but you can keep going back to it at any point. And in fact, if you look at, for example, the writing out, let's pick 3 things game, which is, hopefully, doing it once was kind of nice. If you think about, you got like 30 words on the page, the little probability and statistics problem right there, but if you think about the sheer number of combinations of 3 things that you can connect, it is a huge number. So every time that you do it, every time that you close your eyes and pick this one and that one and that one, you're going to come up with new combinations. So periodically, I'd encourage you to, once every couple of weeks, or anytime that you're feeling like a little bit down or whatever, you can go back to your VCC and revisit it. So that's exercise 5 is the revisit. If you want to do another reflection, do another write out. There's no reason why you have to do it only one time. Choose 3 different words at random and see what emerges and write that down. It's going to be a hugely powerful tool in terms of empowering you, regardless of the outside circumstances, regardless of global pandemic or not, regardless of whether it's a gorgeous day or a dreary day like today. It's kind of dreary, but yeah. So this is going to be all really helpful. So again, in terms of you created your tool, but reviewing, you've got the quick think. You've got the write out, you've got the how many can I connect game, you got the VCC daydream, and you've got the revisit. So that's 5 different exercises that you can do with this beautiful, very personal tool for you. So there we go. All right, I hope that was helpful. It really is one of my absolute favorite personal empowerment tools. And if it helped you in any way, please share it with other people that you think would also benefit from it. So my hope with these videos is that if one thing that I say here helps out in any way, like it helps one other person on their journey, then mission accomplished. Then I'm really happy about it. So the best way that I can help as many people as possible is if you do just share this video. It also helps give me a thumbs up, give me a subscription. All of that is helpful, but especially if you share it with your friends, or if you share it with anyone that you think could benefit from this, that would be fantastic, because the goal here is to give personal empowerment to as many people as possible. And and this is all, as you probably saw here, like my thing is, I want to help you discover potential things that were already in you. This is all about helping you discover synergies that you, for whatever messaging that you've been getting, maybe you were told this was out of reach for you. No, like this is all about helping you discover really tap into things that were already possible for you. Just unlock your potential. So yeah, thank you so much for doing this. There's the last section, I guess, of AMA Ask Me Anything question, but I don't really have any specific listener questions, and this video is getting a little long right now, as is. So I'll leave that for the time being. So thank you again so much. I hope that this video was helpful to you in some way. Also, please leave a comment so that I know how this helped you. And again, please share it with anybody that you think would benefit from this. Good old Virtuous Cycle Cloud. And I hope this becomes one of your go-to staples, or anytime, whether you're feeling down or great about yourself, this can be super, super helpful. All right, stay safe, stay healthy, be responsible in the pandemic, and I send you my best wishes and look forward to seeing you soon. All right, bye guys.